Welcome back to Fast Market here on the Schwab Network. It's time for cash tags. For that, let's bring in our next guest. That's Megan Brantley. She's the VP of Research at Likefolio. Welcome back to the show, Megan.
Thanks for having me, guys. Happy Friday.
Happy Friday to you. So the trade desk, you guys have been spot on with this stock in the past on this. We've got some more news about them, kind of butting heads with Roku. But do you guys still have positive data on this one? Because the election's over. Digital ad spend, is it still going to go up? Because that benefits the trade desk. What kind of data do you have?
Yeah, whenever we look at the trade desk, I would say this is probably one of our highest conviction bullish names that we follow in our entire universe. And part of that are just because of the macro tailwinds that are propelling this company. And one of that is the big switch in consumers from linear TV to streaming TV or connected TV. And I think the key here is that we all know more and more consumers are adopting streaming, whether it's Netflix, whether it's Disney Plus, whether it's Max. There's this major shift here. But the ad dollars haven't quite caught up to the viewership, the consumer eyeballs. And so there is a gap between the amount of time that consumers are spending on these connected TV platforms and the amount of advertising spend that's being spent on these platforms. And we think that ad dollars will follow consumer eyeballs. And so that is perhaps one of the biggest tailwinds for us when we're looking at this long-term propelling the trade desk. You can see on that chart there that last year the consumers with connected TV outnumbered consumers with linear TV, and we expect this trajectory to continue to flow this way. So for us, when we look at the trade desk, especially considering the pullback that we've seen in the stock and the data on our end and the macro trends supporting this name, we actually expect to see a strong advertising environment in 2025, maybe not to the degree of the presidential elections, but still continuing to grow. And so we expect the trade desk to be a big winner this year as well.
Especially in the recent trends, too, I imagine, Megan, where sports are joining, the NFL in particular is joining some of these platforms. It seems that the only must-see as it happens events that happen these days are sporting-related events. I'd imagine that's their pristine ad dollar. So the fact that some of these different companies, Netflix in particular, are starting to air games, I imagine really does push the envelope even further for connected TV going forward.
Yeah, we think that that's a tremendous opportunity. And if you look at Netflix specifically, the amount of time that consumers are spending on that platform versus the percentage of the ad dollars that the platform is receiving, there's a significant gap. And TTD is actually a partner with Netflix. And so it's a demand side platform, and it essentially allows advertisers to programmatically buy digital ad space on Netflix, for example. And you can see this on this chart here where the usage of Netflix is exceeding its current advertising potential. And so for us, when we look at this, we say, man, this is another gap that's likely to fill in favor of the trade desk because it has logged so many good partnerships with names like Netflix, with names like Disney Plus. And so I think that that's just a tremendous tailwind. And as you mentioned, Netflix, especially getting into live sports is the largest driver of this, perhaps the shift to streaming now that we see continuing. And so I think that that's an important tailwind as well.
Megan, when you look at this, Trade Desk announced their Ventura, a new streaming TV operating system that they're going to operate. This seems to make the most sense because, everybody wants data and reaching advertising dollars reaching specific people in specific genres. Is that the next catalyst for this stock where, hey, they're going to be in all these smart TVs competing against Roku and their operating system where, hey, if you just go to the trade desk, use their platform, you're going to actually get to see data and results immediately, and that might sway advertisers to use their platform more.
Yeah, I think that this is expected to launch in the second half of this year, and it's certainly a big catalyst for the trade desk. It streamlines their entire ad model and allows for that precise placement, that precise targeting, just like you mentioned. And I think the trade desk also, just at large, its technology is impressive. It has this unique identifier that allows advertisers to target consumers, whether they're targeting them on connected TV or just on the open internet. And so I think it's important to note that while connected TV is the trade desk's largest driver of growth, in the last quarter at least, it also has other revenues of growth in the digital ad space at large.
When you look at the performance too, Megan, Stock prices pulled back a pretty substantial amount in recent months. I'd imagine if the data has remained robust, as it sounds it has, there's growth drivers in the future, you guys see this as an opportunity.
We do. This is probably one of the most classic divergence opportunities that we're watching. Stock has pulled back about 12% just in the last month alone. And we looked, I pulled some ad data just for the beginning of 2025. And the first few weeks of January had some of the highest activity that we've seen in nearly 3 years. So it was up slightly on a year-over-year basis. I think this is a time when a lot of customers are going to the ad platform, starting to plan campaigns, coming back from the new year and the holiday season. But it's nice to see that increase in activity and continued web flow for TTD.
All right, more positive data on TTD. Great stuff as always, Megan. Have a great weekend.
Thanks, guys. You too.
All right, that's Megan Brantley, VP of Research at Likefolio.